Vampire.
Hello,
Yeah.
everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Comics Della Morte. I'm your host, Crimson Owl Comics, Ronnie Gunter, and my co-host, Frogbreaker Studios, Jason Alexander. And tonight, I should say, we are reviewing the continuing story of American Vampire, and this episode is called, oh man, I forgot what the episode called. Been so busy.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Hang on one second. It was
Final Cut. Rough Cut.
Final Cut.
Rough Cut. Yeah.
The Rough Cut?
Yep. Busy week. Sorry, cut. Folks. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
this, believe it or not, I really dug.
Oh yeah, this was
I dug this story.
Yeah. And I like how when you go back and look at all the episodes or even the books where you literally focus up more on Pearl instead of Sweets, all of the titles have to do with like film related because
Right.
she's a wannabe actress. So it's like Rough Cut, Showtime, all this different stuff that relates to that type of stuff. So it's just been really cool to find like even photo clips that kind of relate to put into the thumbnails.
You know what I like and it's something like I'm excited to go back and I want to get this physical. Like I want to hold this book because number one is Stephen King's fingerprints are on it. Exactly. But number two, this really does capture like that vibe of the man in the circle. What's up, Gary?
What's up?
Like how they have the narrator in the bubbles in those first few, even in the last chapter he was there.
Yeah.
But the rhythm of this story has been so interesting because we've already been introduced to all three of the characters in this and the extras, but it's almost like you've gotten caught up with the world and you've gotten caught up with these characters, and now that you understand what Skinner Sweets is and what he's done to this lady, like it's like, okay, now that I've caught you up, let's get back to her because she's like the first progeny of the American Vampire. And you can see how important this arrival is to the European vampires through this story.
Most definitely.
I won't get too far ahead of it. I really enjoyed this chapter, made me enjoy the whole book more. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Oh yeah.
Usually it's like I like to take the chapters one by one, but this chapter I felt like made it worth it to go back and read the first few chapters again.
Yeah. And for anyone that watched the last episode, I went back and did the math. So he died in like the 1880 and he would have been around like 1901. So pretty much he was almost buried underwater in that coffin for almost 30 years. and then the first thing he does when he breaks out is that he's asking for some candy.
Yeah,
I just thought that was funny.
He's channeling Halloween Adam Sandler, you know, like give me some candy.
Yeah, so pretty much here we're just having Pearl's best friend and upcoming actress as well just sleeping, and you could kind of tell that probably Pearl's right behind her. And I just love how always the artist chooses like color tones to make it, not as bright, but to show that time period piece.
Yeah, and it also it's different in like the two worlds, like we were talking about last week, how when you're in like this industrial world, it's very, very crisp and it's very, very sharp.
Yeah.
But here, it's like in this room, there's not a lot of shadow other than Pearl, but it establishes the muted colors just kind of work because it makes the room feel dark, even though you can see everything in the room.
Yeah, and it gives it that chill factor effect. Like there's a dark shadow hovering behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a reader, that's the first thing you're going to see is this giant shadow. So pretty much, Pearl's friend, she's waking up and she's just having a conversation with Pearl because the last time, you got to remember, she saw her friend dying.
Yeah, like mangled, and like
she had
ripped apart.
She had holes. She had holes all in her. She had like her upper, like her neck on, I believe, on the left side, like completely shredded into pieces. And now everything's completely fine.
Yeah, Hattie was begging the doctors to take her own blood out because the doctors pretty much told her that she was dead on the table right then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I just love this interaction because it really shows like the bondage between the friends. But here she's just literally given her a letter trying to pretty much tell her that, hey, whatever happened to me, you got to stay out of trouble or stay out of sight because these people might be coming towards you.
Right. They're gonna target you to get to me. So here's some money. Go somewhere where I don't even really know where you are.
Yeah. And I like the panel choice and how everything is like, okay, you didn't want to show the full characters, you just wanted to show the silhouettes, but you wanted to focus like on Hattie's hair, Pearl's necklace, and the letters. Like that's really interesting choice to go with.
Right.
Like, you could have just made it all pitch black.
Right. Earlier when Hattie's laying down, as dark and dim as the room is, her hair was like that radiant, this same radiant orange color. Pearl, you could see even the pearls, like where the closet knobs were, looked like her pearls on her necklace. So now, and again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week of giving your characters like identifying markers. So if you haven't got your consistency nailed down, you can still know who's doing what. This picture is two silhouettes, but you see Hattie's red hair. The features may or may not even match her actual profile that's been set up so far at all.
Yeah.
Pearl, you can see the pearls on her necklace. And you see this letter that they're talking about. It's all you need to know without showing these characters' faces. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I just love the facial features that he captured. Like you could see the sadness in her eyes that, she's just happy to see her friend after thinking that she's dead, but yet scared at the same time.
Right.
But man, this woman means vengeance. She is out to kill the freaking vampires and anyone who had basically in charge of doing this.
Yeah. And she's out for blood, and she's
exactly. And I don't know. Oh, I'll let you go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Ronnie.
I was going to say, she's basically telling her, they left me in a ditch to Hattie to die. They'll keep doing it too. And I'm sorry about the mess. And it's like, you don't see what she did, but that literally
that. There's
like
blood everywhere.
There's blood. So there was probably someone outside of Hattie's room getting ready to do something to her. And then that's when Pearl came in and killed the person before they got to her.
And that kind of set her resolve. Like, they're going to continue to try to hurt the people I care about if I don't just go after them now.
Yeah.
Like,
and I love
one of my favorite panels.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's one of those things like you didn't have to show what the body looks like. This is just like a suspense scene as it is anyway. Because it's one of those things, even if you didn't read what the rest of the story was about and you just had her in shock and blood coming down the door, it would have been a great panel in any type of horror scene.
Super high impact panel. Like, look at that. Like, all you need to know, that something happened. She doesn't know what happened, but as the viewer, she's sharing your reaction. But you see what it is. She doesn't.
For sure. And now we got the Hollywood penthouse going on here. Nothing too special, but I just love his building design. Yep. And I love too how, like, even though it's the same time period, he chooses his colors to show like basically LA, where like the rich people live, and LA versus where the poor people are by the color choices. Like, this is more of a bright, vibrant color. vibrant, but it's more of a brighter color than the colors that we've seen in our apartment.
No, yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. This looks like one of those GTA cuts load screens.
Right?
Like he just some things I've never been, but some things just feel like California, no matter the time period. And that picture,
Yeah,
just kind of nailed it.
exactly. So pretty much here, I mean, we just have like the European vampires just getting around talking about what's going on.
It's unbelievable how unlikable
These characters are.
they are very unredeeming. Like they feel exactly like these people, these kind of people do feel.
Yeah. And I just love, I don't know if it was like Stephen King's idea or it's just the artist to take an
This is
effect.
Snyder wrote this story.
Oh, Snyder. Oh, yeah. Snyder
This
wrote
is a
the
Snyder
story.
chapter. Yeah.
I don't know if Snyder had the idea of doing this, but I love how each vampire in this, like, I guess they would probably call themselves like a clan or a family, but you could see how each of them have like different features. You have the tall guy in the back that's bald, the guy with the mohair. Just, I love, I just love it. You know,
yeah, it's awesome. This lady's wearing like this Roman type skirt dress.
Yeah,
you know, it's everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice touch for they're still, you know, I mean they're the head villains, but none of these characters really stand out except for the bald guy. Look at this picture of Skinner Sweet. How awesome is that? But they gave them all, they all have personalities. Like they're all as unlikable as the next.
Yeah, so pretty much they're just talking about, you know, how Sweet pretty much is up to no good again. And they're just trying to, well, the head guy here, he's just probably telling the girls, like, you know, remember last time what we did to mess with Sweet? And you see a picture here, and I had to put that in the thumbnail, and I thought it was actually funny that the title was called Rough Cut, and all you see is like all these people's heads like cut off by Sweet, and he's just taking a picture with them. I thought that was funny.
They are afraid of what Skinner Sweet is becoming.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
they can see like
he's immune to sunlight.
He's immune to sunlight. He's already taken a progeny. Like he's everything that they're not, and he's a loose cannon. So it's like he would be like the antithesis of everything that these vampires are.
Yeah. And
he just wants candy.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was interesting how they're talking about, you know, he's not weak to sunlight. His weaknesses are still unknown, but it talks about here. I thought that was an interesting touch that they decide to put in, is that they're talking about, yes, but we do know that he resets during the moonless time, and the moonless time starts tonight in a matter of hours. All we have to do is find his hiding spot. So it really makes me wonder, like, do they become like almost drained or tired at that point where the moon almost gives them like energy to keep on pushing?
When you look at them, when they are in their full form, as in Pearl and Skinner, they look like werewolves. Like they have like the dog's hind legs for feet. They have the long claws,
fingers.
The long fingers. Their snouts get kind of lichen almost. And you know, for a new moon, a night where there's no moon at all, to be their weakness is that's a very werewolf thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just wonder, like, I don't know how it works, but like, is this vampires versus werewolves almost, you know?
Yeah, it'd be interesting more to see exactly how they base the whole theory with them becoming weaker during a moonless night. Like, what is it exactly?
Yep.
So pretty much here, they're just having more conversations and focusing more on, each character. And man, it looks like Uncle Fester right here. I just find it
Yeah,
funny.
it's just menacing.
It's like right here is like the Three Stooges of the vampires.
This picture reminded me of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like
Yes,
the color
right.
tones, all of it. Like
The
it's
clothing.
very
Yeah,
it's all very League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Not
man.
my favorite vibe, but still entertaining.
Oh yeah, of course. And I just love how mostly the colors you see here are just red, green, and purple. I really love the color choices because that's all you really see too much. Like his suit is purple, the red scarf.
Yeah, it's very good use of color.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Like, and again, you don't have to keep his face consistent as long as you get that red scarf right.
Yeah.
And in color only, and it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
and if you, for any young curator out there, if you want to try to have panels, but you think, oh, I can't really have this panel because it's too small, do what they did here. You literally have a panel inside of a panel. And sometimes, it might not look like it will go together, but this is a perfect example of like handing the letter and probably putting it behind like some painting. So, it goes really well.
Is nuts. Like I love this panel for similar to what you were saying, but that panel this top panel is small, and with as much as he's talking, it's our nature to try to fit that word bubble into that panel.
Yeah,
but he didn't,
and they don't,
and it worked. Yeah, it overlapped and it worked. And it's almost like this picture is almost like stage directions, as in like two different camera angles. Like it doesn't feel like two different pictures. It just feels like two different camera angles. Like this was how the movie would be produced. It's just noticed this a lot in the Watchmen too. The characters feel very like they're drawn in a way that it's almost feels more like motion picture stage direction than drawings on a page.
For sure. And now we find out what was behind that painting. Look at all those dead bodies hanging. Like hanging by like meat hooks, like literally like it's I think the hooks are like going through like the side of their face. Just man,
look at that, right through the eye and down. Like it's the path. I write horror. It's the path of least resistance on the head. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like put the hook through the eye, then feed it down through the roof of the mouth, and then out through the mouth. That's they won't fall down because it's meaty and bony.
Yeah, and you could see the words here. It's like, please, no, I have two little girls. But the way it's like you take out the P and it's like Leeze, like the way you're reading that, it doesn't say please, but the way you're reading it does. Like, what would you sound like if you got fish hooked with a hook and you're just hanging there from your body?
Sound.
Exactly.
You can't make a P sound with your lips. That is that's darkness. Well
that's
done.
Detail.
This is like, and it's totally different than the last book that we read. Like this is that same tense, gruesome terror, but this is done like on a whole different level. Yeah, really, really good.
And now we got some car scenes. Nothing too much, but I always appreciate a good design of a car.
It was like a Batmobile race,
right?
It's like three Happy Meal. It's like three Happy Meal Batmobiles.
Mm-hmm. So literally, you got these punk little kids or guys just talking about more than half the customers. One bad bitch though. Leather gives me hives. See, twice the work for that makeup girl. So they're just really just talking about trying to hook up with the chick. And you pretty much could tell the difference between like probably the like 1920s and these people that probably came from like the old European time, because literally the way this guy dressed up literally does not fit along in that time period. And now you have this the girl that was pretty much just talking about, you know, yeah, exactly. Kind of almost gives me that Interview with the Vampire clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're pretty much just going on a trip, and it doesn't take long for them to make out. And yeah, the fast and the sooner we get home, the better.
Hello.
He has something in mind, but not what she wants.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's trouble on the horizon.
I love this panel right here. You know, you have the scenery, but you made it blurry enough to show how fast this vehicle's going.
Speed. Yep.
Yeah.
You got the motorcyclist catching it.
Yep. And who's on the motorcycle?
It's
Pearl.
The palm trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
Mm-hmm. And man,
and
what's her idea?
She's got the driver's attention.
Yeah. And the driver, he's just focused
pretending
on
to be Star Trek. Yep.
And she's like, I always hated your fucking movies. So he's a actor himself, and it was just funny. And now look at that action-packed scene. I mean, there's been other action packs that have been, you know, way bigger with this book, but I just love the leap here going onto the motorcycle. And you can see on the next panel, she literally rips him out of the car and throws him.
This is definitely the most comic book scene in this story
for sure.
So far. Like, yes, it's a little bit more, you know, PG-13 or R-rated, but like this could have easily come out of any Image or X-Men comic from about 1992 to 1996. Like these two panels right here are it. Like this, it's just to be reminded that you're reading a comic book, even when you're enjoying something so much so that you forget that you're reading a comic book. But like this kind of grounds it back into that world that it's just a comic book that's well done.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much now it's like rides over Loverbirds, and you just got her coming through the scene like, you know, The Shining. And literally they're freaking out, but I'm like, why are you guys freaking out? You guys are vampires too. I mean, I'm not rooting for you, but kick her ass or something.
Right. Don't give up. Don't give up before the fight starts. But there's something about these American vampires. They are like, that's terror on his face.
Yeah.
Like
this panel right here, like
we saw in Uzumaki, it's terror.
Exactly. But like the last panel you were saying, like that's a comic book panel that you would see out of any movie. This one, I like this because this is like another really good horror comic panel. It's like you don't need to see any of the gore or blood. You just know like this giant hand is coming towards you, and that's terrifying you.
Even if you never knew what Pearl looked like transformed and she ripped his face off, even if you didn't need to know what she looked like transformed, just seeing those fingers in silhouette over his face tells you that this is what was getting ready to happen.
Right?
Yes, she ripped Eddie's face off. Like,
man, but man, that's some awesome. That's some awesome work right there. I really love that. That would be a great poster to have, because you see it's not very detailed, but you could still see the flesh hanging, the parts that like probably stayed on still because it's ripped up, and literally her face. Oh man, it's almost like her face, like you said, reminds you more like a werewolf because how like American Werewolf in London, it's like grows long and the nose kind of bunches up and everything.
Right.
So man,
but think about it. They look like this. They're weakest when there's no moon.
Yeah.
They're werewolves. Like, they can call them American vampires. You know what his face kind of looks like? You know how you get like a cheap pizza, like a cheap frozen pizza, and it does like the old Tony's
or Red Baron, but it still tastes damn good.
As much cheese and the sauce, it's so good. Exactly what you would call this, but this is not pizza. But yeah, his face ripped off. I'm just trying to be a little silly about it.
Or that's the top of your mouth after something hot out of the microwave stuck to the roof of your mouth.
After you reheat the pizza, yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Or after you got done eating a pizza pocket.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, awesome gore here.
Oh, hot.
Nothing. Literally, see now you're seeing the car flying off.
Out of control because she ripped the driver's face off. Or the passengers. She killed the driver. She ripped the passenger's face off.
But I love here again.
All that's really left now is the girl,
Yeah, I love here again. Like, you could have had anything else in the background. You just wanted to focus on the car and the cliff to indicate like how, dangerous their lives are at this point. And then boom.
Because you don't need it.
Yeah. Man,
because
that's some
more
awesome.
Satisfying to get the crash at the end.
Raphael, I could say one thing about him.
Really cool.
He does some really great crashes, like with cars, with trains. I wonder if he really
he does impact really, really good.
Because it's one thing with impact from people, but impact from vehicles, that's a lot of work.
We'll get to it in a second, but I have something else to say about that part, but I won't get ahead. But these 3 panels, I love that there was no words building up to the crash. Like so many times, like you want to take these panels and you want to like build suspense with your narration, especially like for me, like I feel like I can like still guide these pictures with words, but sometimes you don't need it, and sometimes you write most by not writing at all. And like Mr. Albuquerque handled this crash like in a supreme fashion, and it didn't need a lot of narration on it. Didn't need any narration on it because we knew what was going to happen when she threw the driver out of the car. We just didn't know how it was going to happen, and here we are.
Yeah. And I always appreciate, some people are like, oh, it's just the same old words. But when you do some onomatopoeia words really well, I like it a lot. Like the word, like the crash here, like you could have had that done in the simple ways like you usually see it, but you wanted to make it like more impact. And then the color choice for it too, really nice.
It's really good. Yeah. Just solid wreckage overall. I don't have much else to say about it. I think we covered it pretty well, but
look at
this
that
guy with no face. Like he's a vampire, so he's still alive.
He's still crawling.
Umbrella open.
Right? He's like, the sun is coming. I need to block myself. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
It don't matter if you block yourself.
Layer skin is gone. Yeah.
You look like Leatherface at this point.
Yeah, he's filleted. It's over for him.
Right.
And he's even leaving his girlfriend behind.
And then she's grabbing the steak.
Yep.
That's an awesome another panel. Like she literally could have like ripped his head off, but she's like, no, I'm gonna stake you. I'm gonna do you dirty.
Okay. Am I allowed to say but?
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I love this panel. We saw how
you're freezing up.
I got full signal. What's going on here? We've seen how well Robert Albuquerque does crashes.
Yeah.
Why did we not see him get staked, Ronnie? Like, why is that? Why was that just implied?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, there should have been, like, look at, like, he's like a water balloon at him. He's dripping. Like, we should have got to see that. And that's the only visual. It's not even really a gripe because the book is beautiful. But why did we not see him get staked? It didn't make sense to me. Like,
exactly.
Really I was kind of like, you know.
I mean, I like the
plenty,
design. I like the artwork of like showing how his blood is boiling under the sun.
Yeah,
I love that effect, and I love the point he's trying to make, and the detail, the muscle tone in the face, and the torn of the flesh where the heart was stabbed. But like you said, why cut out such a dramatic sequence? Because let's face it, there are a lot of times where Todd McFarlane would show Spawn doing the killing. He wouldn't cut it. He would like, I'm going to show you this guy's head getting ripped off. I'm going to show the head getting ripped off and not just holding it.
We saw Sweets posed with, 8 headless people. Like,
right?
Why could we not have seen that stake going through this vampire, his blood busting out the back, but like the stuff that was the highest would be getting steamed. You know what I mean? It would have looked like an old steam pipe, like coming off the train. I just think it would have been awesome. But who am I? You know what I mean? I love comics. I'm enjoying this book, and I don't want y'all to think I'm being negative about it, but just what I would have liked to have seen as a reader, as a creator, as a consumer is what I would have liked to have seen. That's all.
Exactly. I mean, if you're gonna show violence, show the violence.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and now here you see that. Yeah, you literally see her skin boiling because under the heat, and like she's saying here, looks like sweet.
It's such a cool touch.
Yeah, it really is because
the hiss sound is the smoke. You know what I mean? Like where her hand is like burning hot, looks like it's saying, but it's smoke. It's just it's brilliant.
Yeah. Like find a perfect way to use the sound effect, but in a way that it almost looks like smoke. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was like the writer's choice or the artist. I really don't know. Hopefully it was like Raphael.
I don't know. Looking at it, I would assume that it was the artist. I think that's a cool touch.
Yeah. Pretty much now here we have looks like Sweet made himself a little mongrel bitch. What a pleasure to meet you. I'm like, you are literally under a car boiling alive under the sun, and you calling this woman a bitch. Like you're gonna die. You know.
Yeah, that she has no solution. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by, man. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And now we just got more of the dialogue here. And she's actually telling her, like, we actually met once at the party. So if you guys remember that pretty much when Pearl was a human at this point, she was thinking that she was going to meet all these popular artists and pretty much become like a famous actress because that's what she wanted to. And we all know how that turned out. But man, just beautiful colors. I love I always love.
This is
I
my
always love how
favorite
the artists.
page.
I always love how you want to go with blues to kind of show the shadow of vehicles, especially with this, because you could have gone with the gray, but sometimes I think blues really stick out more and shows like the details and the shadows of the vehicles. I don't know. That's just my personal choice.
It makes the blackers black. Like it's always cool, even when Batman's costume has a lot of blues in it, because
yeah. Oh, he froze up.
Those dark parts so much
Yeah.
more. What happened to? Oh, there I am. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I see you.
But no, it just this black is so black, and just her profile, like he just nailed that 20s flapper. Like this is a perfect 20s flapper image.
And oh yeah, for sure.
She's getting ready to do work. Like,
yeah, and literally, she's literally just trashing her again. Your abomination, but man, oh, and I love the fire effect here. Like, so I wish they would have showed more, because I don't know, but literally
it's
now,
a nice touch, but
yeah, it's a nice touch. But now, what I've been waiting to show, it's like literally that's an awesome scene. I wish that we would have seen like a vampire cat fight here. That's just me.
Oh my god. But no, it's like she's astonished at how, gruesome and long her claws are, because I'm sure she's been the baddest girl on the block for a long time. But
yeah, but here, like you were saying, you could see like the difference. Like you said before, you could see the difference between the vampires. You got the traditional vampire here, but then you got the vampire here that kind of reminds you of Lady Deathstrike from X-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome stuff.
This lady is total werewolf, though, man. Like the more I thought it when I was reading this earlier, but it's like just like going back and like being able to like bounce this off of you and see it through your eyes and like kind of work it with what I was seeing. I feel like these folks are yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Man. Amazing stuff. And there we go. We see some of it. But I was hoping to see more.
There's just, this book, like I said, it's been my favorite of it. It's made me enjoy the whole story so much. These two, there's a handful of like impact misses. Like it would have taken it to a whole different level. But it is. Everybody gets to choose what they want. I guess if I want to see it how I want to do it, I have to make a book like this. But
this I love her.
I love her terrified stuff.
Face. Like that was a nice nice
angle.
Choice. Yeah.
She's being stalked. You know what I mean? Like her arm is blown out right where Pearl's was. And when they murdered Pearl, like this is payback. This is exactly what Pearl set out to do.
But what I love here is that literally after she got attacked, it's like she didn't have the vampire face on anymore. She went back to her normal face, and you see how terrified she is that she literally reverted back to her human form, because it's like, okay, you literally scared the shit out of me, and I don't know what's going to happen. But before, the guy was trying to tell her, these people are not normal than us. They're a different breed. And now here she's like really pissed, and you see the eyes glowing red. But girl, you got grabbed by the hair, and you know that you're going to die.
It's on. Yeah, it's on. And she is giving her a California cactus social studies archaeology lesson. Yes, a scared child.
Exactly. That's like a scared child. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that guy on the Mummy movie that had all the different religious vestments that he was trying to pray to the mummy for to see that he could stop the mummy from killing him, and he finally got to the right one. Like, you do what you gotta do to stay alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was
she
going through
felt
the cross.
like being, meek and afraid would keep her alive a little bit longer. Yep.
Yeah. Man, good reference there. And now you could see that she's killing her by sticking her to a cactus. I mean, what a horrible way to die, because literally you probably know that she didn't die quickly. She's just probably being slowly drained of her blood.
Yep. This is vampire death by 1,000 cuts. But also she gets the sensation that girl had in the hospital of bleeding to death slowly by a bunch of tiny wounds that shouldn't have killed her. But here we are. And that sound effect is so consistent, and it's one of my favorite things is just to use a sound effect and the visuals of the smoke as the same item. Just
yeah, that does sound like it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking when I was reading this, and like I'm enjoying this, whoever is writing each of these, whether it's been Snyder or King. But I just wonder how a collaboration with writers works. Like I can understand how a collaboration with artists works, but a collaboration with two writers of this caliber, like, I mean, the result is fantastic, and
telling two different
fans
stories,
win.
but
like they blend so well together. Yeah, they blend so well together. Like it's just really, really well done.
Yeah, because for anyone that doesn't know out there, like each chapter literally is a difference. So you have Snyder, the first, like this chapter, and the next week we'll be reviewing another chapter that was written by Stephen King. And it's just great because you have the two different time periods, two different characters, but the characters have met up before. And I just wonder how going further on, if King's going to have more into writing, or once Sweet's story and origin is completely done and we see Sweet's origin up to the point where he meets the girl, if that's going to be it. I really I have to look that up. I hope that King decides to write more.
It's like it's like going to the Jay-Z and DMX concert, or David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. Like, who's closing out the show tonight? It's we never lose. Like, Snyder's awesome
for sure.
Like, and like the artwork is fantastic in the book. So this is a total win. I'm just curious. I'm curious as to what the logistics look like behind the scenes on something like that.
So pretty much here, you just have her meeting up with Harry. If you guys remember, Harry was the guy that was trying to ask her out once she got out of work at being a waitress at a diner. So he was pretty much asking her before, like way back, I think with issue 1 of the series, where he was asking her for coffee, and she's like, no, I ain't got time. I gotta go up to and pretty much do fill in for like an actress, and that's when we met the leading actor who took her to the place.
Yeah, it's just it's a proper come down from like how intense, because it wasn't tense, like scary tense, but it was just a lot of action, and it's like now it's like this kind of is a decent cool down from that story.
Yeah, like she's like, okay, I killed a bunch of people, but now I want to get my man. And that's pretty much what it is at this point. And man, just
the
dialogue here,
kill somebody,
right? And I wonder what she did with the blood, because clearly we know, and she's wearing the same clothes. It's like, how did you get the blood stains out of your clothes? But nothing too special here. It's just talking about how, because remember too, Henry was there with Haiti when they found her pretty much mangled and dying. So he's shocked just as much as Haiti was. And we see it here when they're pretty much talking.
Right.
Hey, you were talking to a man off the road here. Remember, there isn't a story out there could shock me. And that's when she tells him everything.
She shocked him.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And I just love how he's like, you're a good actress. And she's just still trying to convince him. And who wouldn't not believe her story? But at the same time, you got to question, why is she alive after when you literally saw her dead on the table?
You saw her bleeding to death. Yeah, you saw her bleeding to death. Not only did you see it, you heard a doctor say, we've tried everything we can do, but we can't stop the bleeding.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go back to some of these panels. I always like when you choose a outdoor night theme, that you kind of have the skin be almost the same color as the sky to give it that lighting effect, because clearly now here, when you have the natural lighting, you have more of the actual color of the regular skin is supposed to look like.
Yeah, it's just it's solid through and through.
Yeah,
the story trumps the art and the writing. It's just, this is the melding of a fantastic product.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the part where pretty much the whole process was nothing but gore, but it's now we're gonna fill some other people's things are, and we might have a little nookie going on.
Yep. Just and this is where the moon, she knows the effects of her body getting weaker, because
but that's the thing, she doesn't know. She didn't he didn't tell her about it, if I'm not mistaken. So it's she kind of senses it.
No, I think she just knew.
Yeah,
unless he had it written somewhere else, like that letter that he gave her. But I don't really, if he was underwater for 24, 30 years, how did he really figure that part out?
Yeah, exactly. Man. So pretty much here we have the next night, and he's waking up Pearl, and something's wrong with Haiti, and look what happened. I don't know if Haiti went to find help or if they found her, but I like this panel because, let's face it, you don't have to focus on everything. You're just showing how terrifying it is at this moment, that his teeth is shown, and she's terrified for what's going to happen to her friend.
He's got his little smartphone.
Yeah.
Yep. His phone is different. The colors are different. This is one of the European vampires, without question.
Yeah, because every time when we looked at the Europeans, you always saw that red tone to the lighting in their room, to their skin color and everything.
Even back in the train. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let me see. So now, pretty much here, she hung up on him, and she's like, I got to get to her before they kill her. And, at this point, she's like, okay, I'm done making out with you, but now I got to go full on vampire again. And Oh man, I just can't wait for next chapter or next episode because I read ahead. Oh man, it gets good.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty. Now I'm invested in seeing what happens next. Like I've crossed over from. I guess if this is what we're reviewing, I'll read it next week. I've become more and more interested in it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Single week, and now it's like, yeah. Now I'm just ready to see what happens next. Just a well done chapter. I think that this chapter made the book so much better thus far, and it was already good. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like that this kind of pulled the whole story together. Now we're on one journey. The world is established. The characters are established. Now we go forward. Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said before, the other chapters before this one had a lot of dialogue and a lot of like explaining the story. And I didn't want to focus too much on each panel because some panels, were done very beautifully. But I would say this definitely had like one of the most action stories in it. Like you literally saw or seen, I should say, her embracing her powers and going full on vampire and realizing that, okay, these other people are vampires too, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're probably 100 years older than I am and they know how to use their abilities. I'm American vampire. I'm a bad bitch and I'm going to take you out.
She is though. She's ready.
Yeah.
Like, she's been like for such a short time already learning her strengths. She obviously knows one of her weaknesses is the lack of mood. But just I would say I really enjoyed this book and I enjoyed it more than the hiccups. So I would say I'd have to do a 7. I'd have to do a 7 in this chapter just because of that. The impact we missed out on that vampire state.
Gotcha.
Like, I really would have loved to have seen that in this particular artist style.
Yeah, I would go with the 7 too, because like you said, the action is there, the horror is there, but I would love to see more of the gore because I feel that the other chapters we've seen a lot more than this one had to offer. You know what I'm saying? It's like the other ones that we literally saw Sweet tearing a hole in the divers and seeing what they look like afterwards.
It was almost like you go up this roller coaster, and when you go down, it's like the roller coaster operator slams on the brakes, and you still go down, but it's like I like going fast. Right. It's like just a couple of I don't want to say misses because this was a great finished product, but just things that I would have done differently, for what it's worth.
For sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to end it there, but before we're going to promote ourselves. So.
Yeah, you're right. Because we should have done it first. Because we already bought their comic books. I want y'all to buy my comic books. Little comic books, y'all. Like, come on. These good too. Like, we do horror. We got sports. We got like cyborg action, man. Minicomicbundles.com. Aaron Guzman is drawing his ass off. Man, y'all get these comic books. Like, we're doing something pretty special. Ronnie, what do you got? What you doing?
Well, this coming up Sunday, since it is Easter Sunday, you are going to be able to see my next holiday horror piece, which is a serial killer Easter bunny. Well, it's a human dressed up as a Easter bunny. You'll just have to wait.
It was not what I expected. It was not the direction I expected you to go in, but I'm so glad you did. I'm so excited to see it finish, man. It looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone with like a supernatural creature like I did with the leprechaun, but I'm like, you know what? Why not just go with the serial killer with the Easter bunny mask?
I thought you were good. I thought you would have done Donnie Darko. I thought that not would have been the direction that you went in with the bunny, like a gruesome.
Thank you, Mike, for stopping by. I appreciate that.
Coming in, Mike. Come back again.
Yeah. The link is in the description for where the book is.
Yeah, but
yeah.
No, it was a good touch. I expected to see like drooly, like sharp teeth, but as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, this is actually a good idea, Ronnie. Like, it looks so good.
Because I mean, you can't always have something supernatural. Try to go with try to have some serial killer stuff.
Yeah, because that's real scary.
Yeah,
because that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just thinking about like, thank you, Gary. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, man.
And you know, me and Jason, we were talking a little bit about the 100th, well, not 100th, the 1 year anniversary of the show. And yeah, we're just going to have some fun talking about probably giving a giveaway, probably one or two.
Yeah, we'll recap, you know. We'll find some stuff to throw in the giveaway.
Recap what we have learned from doing this show. You know, like to get your guys' inputs on what you guys really like. Gary got that. Gary's like, giveaway. I'm in.
That's funny. Yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna give away soon, and we'll start posting. We'll build up to it because it's coming up on the 17th of May. You know, so we got just a little bit over a month. But man, what a year it's been! Like,
oh yeah, for sure. I feel, I don't know about you.
We've gotten together most weeks, you know.
Yeah, I don't know about you, buddy, but I feel that, you know how some people are like, oh, you don't want to read too much comics. Sometimes the writer and the artist will be like influencing you too much. I feel that after reading so many horror comics, that it has made me not just a better writer, but I feel that it has made my horror art a lot better too, because it has given me so many inspirations to look at, like, wow, I like that. I like the colors and the shape and the design to give me ideas, you know.
1,000%. My first round of the hundreds, I didn't enjoy for that very reason. I stopped reading any comic books while I was writing. I stopped reading any comic books while I was trying to draw.
Yeah.
Like, out of writing or drawing or doing something with comics, I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't read comics, if I didn't pick up comics, if I didn't talk about comics, particularly horror comics, because like I said, this was not my identity last May. This time last year, I had no intentions of writing horror. And now I just want to write better horror. I want to write better horror than I've read. And so it's a very, very different. It's very different. And it's really cool to see all the different ways that a book can be done. Like, we've seen so many, hey, I guess I'm not young anymore. My shoulder says I'm not young anymore, you know?
Exactly.
But, you know, we've seen like Junji Ito, and not just because he's here, Gary Hodges and Scott Snyder all have done different black and white books.
Exactly.
Russ Leach's color book was so different than obviously the EC stuff that we did in the first episode, but it's also so different than this book that's in color. And you know, we're reviewing a Stephen King comic book, you know, after we reviewed a Clive Barker comic book, you know, and it's like there's a lot of different vibes going on here, you know. And so
for sure.
The only unfortunate thing is I don't think that John Carpenter ever did a comic book. And no,
or Wes Craven.
Yeah, I haven't watched the thing yet, but I don't really let that define me. I don't let that define me as a person, Gary. I don't. That doesn't. It doesn't bother. I want to watch it, but it doesn't bother me because
Yeah.
I really want to. I just don't. I haven't. My TV positioning is such that I can't watch a lot of scaries at night, and I don't have. I gotta put the app on my tablet so I can watch it away from the TV, so I have to watch the 2011 one again.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah,
I love John Carpenter movies, and that is a heavy inspiration for my writing. That's the only reason I bring up John Carpenter. But
yeah,
and I knew I was going to get called out about not watching the thing yet.
Yeah, but I could tell you one thing. After our 1 year anniversary, and I don't know if we want to take a break from here, but sometimes I like to look around and look at more books that we could review. And I'm trying to get a book, not just to review for the future, but trying to get our first female, guests on here, because I feel that we haven't had a female yet. And I've seen a lot of females out there who have wrote some really good horror stories. And I'm like, wow, I would like to get her on and get her input and see how she really gets into the genre. When you look at a lot of horror movies from the 80s, a lot of them were written by guys. And I just want to try to get her mind, like how she finds to write horror and everything, when sometimes it feels like it's a very guy genre in a way, if you know what I mean.
Yep. I don't know about that, but here's what I do know, Ronnie. Nobody's ever made a comic book and been completely transparent the entire time that they made it. Maybe not spoil the story, but what if the Comics de la Muerte became a weekly, almost a jam session where people get to see exactly what we're going to do with our short horror story that we got cooking.
Oh yeah.
What if we took them on that ride?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're going through it already anyway, so now it's our turn to scare y'all. So
exactly.
I don't know. It's something to think about. Well, I think it will be.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everyone in the chats. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Gary, for stopping by live. We appreciate it.
Yeah. We're awesome. I don't know who. I didn't have YouTube up, so I don't know if anybody else in the chats. But
no, it's just
this is always fun.
Gary and Mike.
Where I'm finally oh, that's cool. But this is always fun, and it's fun to have to read something that I wouldn't necessarily make time to read. But to know that you and I get to talk about it, it's a fun project to have on the side. It's a nice little hour-long break I get to take on Thursday nights, and it's always good to chat with you, Ronnie. So
yeah, same here.
Next week, what do you think?
Oh, I'm excited.
Think we'll do it again next week?
Oh yeah.
Let's
do it. All right. Peace, everyone.
All right. Good night. Y'all be good. Wash your hands still, no matter what.
Yeah.